Well, welcome everybody to my podcast show. I am Kim Evans, and welcome to Inspire Conversations podcast show. I am so excited. This is Women's Month, Women's International Month, Women's Day. I'm so excited. And we are definitely going to be popping up and we are going to be celebrating women. And I am so excited that I have my friend. I also have the founder and the CEO, Mr. Gerry Gdove. Gerry, thank you so much for coming back on my show.
Pam, it is my honor. And as I say when I open up my own show, Dominus Ominous, which means blessings to you. So how you doing?
And I receive all that. I'm so excited because when I kicked off my podcast show a few years ago in 2021, Gerry was one of my guests that came on to support me. And I just want to say, hey, I love you for that, for supporting me then. And he's still supporting me now. So thank you so much, Gerry.
My pleasure, and my honor. I'm glad to be here.
Well, y'all, we gonna get right into it. The show. You all know who I am. I'm the owner of Integrated Health and Wellness, and I'm also a business coach for KME Coaching, where I help inspiring other business women to grow their business and their presence and strategy online. So listen, before I get right into it, Gerry, you know how I like to do. I like to send a blessing out to my listeners and my viewers because our podcast show, people can see it and they can also hear it. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to give 60 seconds. And I just want to just say, is that all right, Gerry?
Absolutely.
So I just want to, first of all, I always like to invite God into my show. I know the presence of the Lord is with us everywhere, but I like to directly invite him all up in here. But more importantly, I want to just send forth a blessing out to all the listeners and the viewers. I want y'all to be blessed. I want this words go as far as the east, as far as the west, as far as the south, as far as the north, that everybody who listens to these words be illuminated, transpired, educated, and so they could be transformed. Let's bless our speaker here that's going to be dropping some gems. I'm so excited that he's given us his time tonight. And you guys, let's just say thank you. We just want to just honor God tonight in his presence. And Lord, thank you for this voice. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God. Gerry, let's get right into it.
Okay, let's go. Amen.
So, first of all, I'm excited number one for how you're growing your business. I'm excited for you how you're growing your platform. And I'm excited of some of the little diamonds that you're going to share with us what's going on that's coming up right now. So let's get into your bio, Gerry. What would you like to start with? I mean, you have a plethora of expertise. I could read your bio, but man, I'm just telling you, it's just
here. I may as well talk about it, right?
Let's talk about it, Gerry.
I'm here.
Let me just first say, it has been a pleasure to know my friend for over years and over decades and to see you grow. You came from Clear Channel Radio. You came from the radio industry. I can read the bio, but why don't you go ahead and share with the viewers what you would like to share?
All right.
Go ahead on.
Well, since you mentioned radio and since you mentioned Clear Channel, that's when I first met you way back in the early 2000s or something like that. We were doing some giveaways and you had your spa and everything going just like you do now. And you were generous enough to donate some gifts and we did some giveaways on air with your great items. And that's how I first met you. So I did 12 years at Clear Channel Radio where I was assistant promotion director at 91 KISS FM and community affairs director for all 10 of their stations at that time. So that's where KMEL, Wild 94.9, Star 101.3, and at that time KKSF were all part of that program over there. So that was a lot of fun. Got laid off, as you do in radio. So it took about a year and a half off, started my own businesses, which we'll get into in a little bit, I'm sure, and went over to work at Intercom Radio, which was KBLX. So KBLX, I became the assistant promotion director and then the promotion director at some point, and the community affairs director for all 5 of their stations. So doing a lot of the same things. So 19 years in radio, I was thinking that 20 was going to be my closing number. Got laid off on my birthday, January 19th of 2018. So, and again, people always ask me, well, do you think they knew it was your birthday? I said, I don't think so, but I don't think it would have mattered. That's radio, that's the corporate business. And I said, okay, well, God, I put in 19 and a half years. I couldn't get to 20. There must be a reason why. So I stopped and went looking in other directions, but had a lot of fun. When I was in radio, That's what I went to college for and everything like that. So I always kind of knew that that's what I was supposed to be doing. Something with music and radio was it. And I had a great time doing it.
Amen. Amen. What was the pivotal moment that you said, okay, I'm getting ready to start my production company, Purple Cherry Productions? What was that when you just said after the layoff and it's like, you know what? It's time for me to do what I'm going to do. So you had two things that was going on. You had the Purple Cherry Productions, but then you also had IRTS. So which one came first? And what was that defining moment to say, okay, I'm going to grow here. This is what I'm going to do. This is my new strategy. This is what I'm really going to, my next of my life of where I'm going. What was that?
You know, Kim, so one of the things that I always like to tell people is that you need to be prepared for the next thing, because you never know when the thing you're working on now is going to end. So you need to have some other um, irons in the fire. Is that what we're talking about here? So when I was at Clear Channel, that's when I first started my entrepreneurial spirit. I had a line of T-shirts based on my favorite line of peace and move forward. So you make a decision, you make peace with it, and you move forward. And so that's what I was doing. So I made a line of T-shirts that had that logo on it while I was still at Clear Channel. So when I got laid off from Clear Channel, I just picked up on that and did about a year and a half, went hard at it. T-shirts, had hats, all kinds of different tchotchkes and things like that, and went hard at it for about a year and a half. It's a hard thing. And that's when KBLX had a chance to come in. When I'm at KBLX, I decided to keep my entrepreneurial spirit going. And I was doing a lot of things where I was helping people promote their shows. And so I'd always get asked by people, hey, you know, we got this idea. My church wants to do a concert. My nonprofit wants to do an event. Can you help us promote it? And what they were really doing was asking me to help them produce it. I said, well, I can help you promote it, but I'm not going to help you produce it. so I decided, well, if all these people want me to produce that, but let me do that on my own. And so I started Purple Cherry Productions. And I was telling, it's interesting, I was telling somebody yesterday about how I came up with Purple Cherry Productions. So I don't know if I ever told you this story, but
I want to know the story. Share us this. I think you did share me the story. I think you did. And I think we had this conversation. I'm like, Gerry, I think that's it. But go ahead on, share the view. Come on, share. Come on.
Well, when I decided to do the production company, what I'm doing basically is providing talent and providing opportunities to help you organize your event. So I know all kinds of people that are singers, spoken word artists, musicians. I got bands. I know people like yourself who are motivational speakers. I got all kinds of people I know that can help you make your event even better than it was. And so I decided I wanted to have some random kind of name, because the one thing I recognized in my years in radio was that it's the names that stick with you are the names that stick with you. And my name is kind of cool, and everybody always like my name, Gerry Dove. Hey, Gerry Dove. And so people remembered my name. I've had people ask me if it was my real name or my stage name. I'm like, no, my daddy from Mississippi. That's the name he had. There's a whole bunch of people named Dove out there, you know. So that was it. And so I came up with, my favorite color is purple. So I decided, okay, I'm going to go Purple Elephant Productions. I had a guy create an image for me and everything. It was this fun little elephant, his trunk. He was standing behind a door, and his trunk was coming out around the door to open up the knob. And there was a little text that said, "Come on in. I've been waiting for you." You know? And it was cute. It was kind of cool. It was kind of funky. And that's okay. Well, wait. You know, I got enough trademarks. I know I got to check and make sure nobody's at Purple Elephant Productions. And sure enough, somebody's doing Purple Elephant Productions. All right. Let's go with Purple Snake Productions. There's no such thing as a purple snake. Let's go with that. Purple Snake Productions was being used. All right, well, my last name is Dove. That's too easy. I didn't want to do it, but Purple Dove Productions. Let's go. Here we go. There's two little kids in Maine that have the Purple Dove Productions. They hadn't done anything with it in years, but it was theirs, and there was nothing I could do. So I didn't know what I was going to do. And so what happened was, one day I'm in the car with my wife and a friend of hers, and my wife's supposed to name, her name is Sherry, as you know, it's Cheri. And so my friend always said to Sherry, she said, you know, I always thought your name was Cherry, and just spelled with a C. And I said, wait a minute, Purple Cherry Productions, let's go. Now that's random. Cherries aren't purple. Let's go. And then got ready to do the first event, Kim, and it dawned on me to wait. Cherry, C-H-E, are the first three initials of her name. R-R-Y are the last three initials of my name. Purple Cherry Productions.
Stop it. See how the universe works?
Sometimes it comes to you. Sometimes you just got to let it go, and it'll come to you when the time is right. So I had a guy that I worked with create this great logo for me. There's two cherries on it. At that time, I was seeing the numbers 7 and 11 were showing up everywhere. Every time I look at a clock, it was 7-11. Every time I look at a street sign, it was 7-11. Everything was 7-11, 7-11. And so I said, I need you to put 7-11 on the cherry. So if you look at my logo and you blow it up real close, there's a 7 on one, there's an 11 on the other. The stems of the cherries form a heart, so there it is. Purple Cherry Productions got the heart, got the 7-11, and that's what that is.
I love it. I love it. What a great story. It is just amazing how our beginnings, and amazing how when you just say yes, the universe will do the rest.
Absolutely.
So take us through, so now we have Purple Cherry Productions. I love the name. So then how did we come into IRTS Live?
All right, so now we have Purple Cherry Productions, and we have Gdove Designs, which is my my line of t-shirts. And you asked me before, what was a pivotal moment when I decided to do these different things? Getting laid off from your job will help you create a lot of opportunities for yourself, So I was very fortunate both times I got laid off from KISS and from KBLX. I got a nice severance package, which you don't get anymore in radio. So I must have been one of the last set of people to get a nice severance package. I got my unemployment. And at that time, too, our President Obama had created this program called Keep Your Home California, where if you had a home, they were giving people this opportunity to get this money that would pay your mortgage for you for up to 6 or 9 months, so you wouldn't lose your home, because a lot of people are losing their homes during this downtime. And so all of a sudden, at one time, Kim, they're paying my mortgage. I'm getting a severance package, which was the same as my check for 9 months. I was getting unemployment. I made more money than I ever had in my life. I should have got laid off a long time ago.
Wow.
So I decided, that's when I decided, after getting laid off with KBLX, like I said, it was 19 and a half or so years. I said, okay, I'm done with radio. I never wanted to do radio just to be doing it. I didn't want to work for a station that I wouldn't listen to. I know a lot of lifers that are in radio that work for a country station or a rock station just to say they're in radio. That just wasn't me. I love music, and I respect the music that I love too much. So I said, I'm going to go do a TV show. I always wanted to do a TV show. I had a friend that worked at Coffee TV 20. And it's local, but it's big. It's all over the 7 counties in the Bay Area. It serves 7 million people. And I said, hey, man, I got this idea for this TV show. He says, come on down. I went down there, had a couple of notes, literally just a few notes scribbled on a piece of paper, pitched it to him and their program director. And I said, here's the idea. I want to be me and my friends sitting around talking about music. I got a couple of guys who are DJs, some guy from radio, a couple of other friends that are kind of into business, casual setting. I want it to be live. If I make a mistake, we just keep going. It's not going to be a perfect show. We're going to play a little snippet of a song, talk about it, and see where it goes. And the guy said, okay, we like it. When do you want to start? I'm like, oh, okay. I said, so I left out there and said, well, I guess I better come up with a TV show here, because I hadn't really thought of that through that well. So it was exciting. And so what I did was I met with my music director, CJ Flash. And I said, CJ, I want you to be the DJ in all the shows. And we were in a club. No, we're in a club. We're in a lounge somewhere. And he was playing some music. He was playing the music in the lounge. And he was playing a particular song. And I said, that song sounds a little bit like Casey and the Sunshine Band. And he said, yeah, it's Casey and the Sunshine Band, but they're from Miami. They were on Casey's label. And so they were, he said the name of the group. I said, I don't know that group. He said, but they're from Miami. They were on the same label. He said, but what's interesting about it is who produced the song. I said, who's that? He said, Larry Dunn, who's with Earth, Wind, and Fire. I said, well, the first concert I ever went to was Earth, Wind, and Fire, The Emotions, and George Benson. And I said, stop right there, CJ. That's the show. That's the show. You play the song. Let's see where it goes. We talk about it for 2 minutes. On to the next song. So each week, and we'll talk about that in a little bit too, but each week we have a different topic, a bit different subject, a different guest, and we just talk about their music or the music of the show and kind of go from there.
So let me ask you, Gerry, your show, is it a hybrid? Is it part live to where the artists actually or the guests come into your actual studio, as well as you're showing it virtually? How is the setup? How does that work? Walk us through that.
The show is done live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time. We're on StreamYard platform. When I like the StreamYard platform because it's kind of like a TV studio. You can have up to 10 guests at a time. They're all on the screen. You can click back and forth to any one of them very quickly. You can play music, which CJ Flash has done a great job of piping his music through the whole program so that it sounds perfect and everything like that. You can play videos. You can do all these different things to it. And so we use that and we just do it live. And so every week we have a guest on. And now when we started, let me go back for a second. When we started the TV show, then yeah, it was done in a studio, it was recorded, edited, that whole bit.
Got it.
But when the pandemic hit, 2 years into our run, we decided to switch over to the online and been doing that ever since.
Got it. Okay, online. All right. Now we cooking with grease. So
Okay,
now
let's
let me ask you this. Of all the guests that you have so far, now we're bringing it up to current, to what you're doing now in your company. Which one has been your most funnest guest that you've been your most funnest show?
Let me tell you, we've had a lot of fun with a lot of people. We've been blessed to have.
I know they're all blessed. I know you love them all.
Okay, well, I'm going to answer the question. I'm answering the question because there's different things. People ask me that all the time. So we've had Layla Hathaway on, who was fantastic because she was very giving of her time and had a lot. She gets the show. See, the whole thing about if you watch her show, I need people who get it. Okay. So you know that we're being silly. We're going to get all the information out about you, but it's not one of those. So tell me when you first discovered music, kind of shows. It's not going to be, when did you first fall in love with hip hop? We're not going to do that.
Okay.
We're going to say, yo, dude, that one song you did, that was really hot. Where'd that come from? Whose idea was it to say, it's getting hot in here, take off all your, whose idea was that? So
we know, wait. Who idea was that? I don't know. Did you tell us who idea was that? It's
that was Nelly.
Hot in here. Who is it? Come on.
No, you're saying it too nicely. You're saying it is not in here.
Okay, you go ahead on it. Okay,
take a little bit of the education off, Kim.
I know.
It's getting hot in here.
I know.
You're getting hot in here. No.
I know. You've gotten hot in her. I know. Who was that? Okay, let me guess, and you tell me if I'm right. Is it Nelly?
Okay. That is Nelly. Yes.
Oh, I love it.
But we had a lot of fun with Layla.
Wait a minute. Let's do one more. Okay, so what was another one that was a good one? Tell me. Let me see if I can guess it.
Okay. We had a great time with, well, you won't know his name probably, but There'll Never Be Another Love Like.
El DeBarge.
Kind of, sort of. We had a brother on from Switch. They get them confused all the time because one of the El DeBarge brothers was in Switch. And so the song I gave you is a DeBarge song. You're right. So you're right. So, but Switch had a DeBarge brother in it. And so a lot of people thought they sounded like DeBarge. And honestly, when that brother got sick, El would sometimes go in there and sing with him. But the brother that was from Switch was hilarious, and told some stories and from behind the scenes. Some of them I can't repeat on your show because there's probably some good Christian women that are out there watching it right now. But if you go to YouTube and check out IRTS space show, look up my man from Switch and watch that show. We had a lot of fun with Brian Culbertson. A lot of fun with Foster and McElroy, who are the producers, were In Vogue, and MC Hammer in his early days. One of them still lives in Oakland. The other one has moved to LA, but they're Bay Area guys. We have a lot of fun with everybody. We had a lot of fun with Keith Washington, who was hilarious.
I'm sorry, y'all. I don't even know who Keith Washington is.
Yes, you do.
I'm sorry.
You're gonna make me start to sing a little bit.
Okay, go ahead on.
No, I'm not gonna do that. Kissing You from Keith Washington. Kissing You.
I don't know. I don't.
As soon as you hit play on that song, when you Google it, you'll know exactly who Keith. Because you were slow dancing to that song back in the day. I know you were.
Okay, you're gonna make me YouTube him after my show.
Well, you don't want me to sing it. You don't want me to sing it.
Go ahead on, Gerry. Sing it.
You don't.
Come on.
No, I can't do it. I can't. I need a little more of that brown stuff, and
Gerry,
not.
come on, give us.
I need a
give us
little more of the
bit
brown
show.
stuff, and not this one.
So y'all think that, you see, I have a way of starting all the way in Australia, go to New Zealand, but I am going to bring you back. So which one?
But what if I can
most
stop for a
fun
second?
show?
If I can stop you for a second, you know what's
Okay.
interesting about yours not knowing who the artists are?
Yes.
That is why we love to do the show.
Yes.
Because when I came again with the concept, I said, now I could very easily get a lot of my friends who know music like the back of their hand, and they do, and we could do this very clinical, clean, here's a producer, and this was that, you know, and be speaking over a lot of people's heads when most people don't even know who this person was by, who this song was by, because they just know the song. They don't know the artist. They don't, it's not what they do, it's what we do. And so I like people like you to watch the show, because I say it's a combination of conversation plus education,
Yes.
plus entertainment, plus
Yes.
fun.
Yes.
That's what we do on the show. And so all those things are added together, create the show of IRTS Live. So we would be educating you while we were entertaining you at the same time.
So my question is, now we're going to go back. Which one has been your most favorite show?
My most favorite show, probably Keith Washington. That was because it was so much fun. I had no idea he was so silly, and he got it. Keith, we showed a lot of pictures of him from back in the day, in his heyday in the 90s, and he always had a turtleneck on. And I happened to have a turtleneck on that night of my show. And so, Russell Gatewood, who's on the show as well, who's hilarious, happened to point out that, you wore a lot of turtlenecks back in the day. Keith Washington spent 5 minutes showing us all these magazine covers, which happened to be sitting at his fingertips, where I was wearing a turtleneck on the cover of this, I was wearing a turtleneck on the cover of that. And every time we think it was over, he'd come back after another song and say, look at my wearing a turtleneck here. And then one time he said, just so you guys know, I do wear open collar shirts. It was hilarious. It was just hilarious.
So, I just have to speak to the passion. I mean, do you ever look back and say, I have the most funnest job? You have been able, even when you were with Intercom, even when you were with the Clear Channel with the radio station, you have had the most funnest job, Gerry.
Yeah.
You have been able to really touch lives. You've been able to motivate souls. You've been able to be transformative. You are the man with the sultry voice in the Bay Area. I mean, when you look back, do you just say like, wow, I mean, I am just so honored. I mean, and I know one of your favorite artists that you talk about all the time is Tony Braxton.
Yes,
it's one of your favorite. We all know that Tony Braxton is one of your favorite artists.
Yes.
So I'm just saying, do you ever look back and say, wow, how just exciting and how honored and how privileged you have been to be able to reach out and touch the lives of so many artists?
Well, I will tell you this. It took me a while to get there. I mentioned earlier that I was doing radio when I was in college. So when I was 20, 21, I was in school, broadcasting communications major, got a job on the radio, stopped going to school, was going to transfer and finish, but said, I got a job on the radio, I don't need to do it anymore. After a couple of years of that, I said, okay, I'm not getting paid any money. I need to make some money. And so I stopped doing radio. And 20 years later, in one 30-day period, my father died of a heart attack. A house that my wife and I were renting, they decided to sell it. And I got laid off from a job. Seemed like I get laid off from a lot of jobs. Huh? So I got laid off from a job, all in a 30-day period. Now, any one of those things would stop you in your tracks. And I had all three happen. So I had a conversation with God. I said, what is it you're trying to tell me? And so I realized at that time that there are things in life that you have to do, things in life you want to do, and things in life you're supposed to do. And I made it my mission to find out what I was supposed to be doing. Okay. And that's brought me back into music, brought me back into radio. And I was blessed, as you say, absolutely blessed. So now I'm like 41 or something like that, and back in radio. I'm starting at the bottom, trying to get back to where I was before. And I just, ever since then, if you were to follow me on social media, I post a lot of pictures with me, some celebrities that I've been fortunate to meet, because I'm just happy to be there, man. I would tell people all the time that, because they'd always say, hey, man, I need to do what you're doing. I said, well, come on. I was not one of those kind of people that was going to stop you because I thought you're going to take my place. I'm like, there's plenty of room for everybody. So I've gotten to travel. I've gotten to meet a lot of celebrities. I've gotten to meet a lot of my people that I really respect and admire their music. And I get to talk about stuff I've been loving since I was 10 years old, So, and I'm not out working outside working up a sweat. So I can't really complain about anything. And it's just been really good.
I think that's absolutely just amazing. And the beautiful thing about you, Gerry, is that you don't clout chase. I mean, you never have. I mean, you really do it for the passion and heart-centered. And that's beautiful. And it comes across, with your work, when people meet you, what you do for the community. And as we talk about on that note for the community, I mean, you're community-centered. You're always doing promotions, things of that nature. Tell us a little bit more about your paraphernalia. I mean, you have paraphernalia in your company, your T-shirts, and tell us how did the Black Bay Area Black Famous come into play?
Well, see, here's one thing. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes, and what is this button? What is this button that you have on your lapel here?
It says Bay Area Black Famous. Bay Area Black Famous. So I was on the board for the BAMMYs. I don't know if you remember the BAMMYs, the Bay Area Music Awards. And so we were trying to get it going again during the pandemic. We would have meetings once a month on Zoom. And it was Dan Ashley, who is a Channel 7 news anchor here in San Francisco. And I'm saying it like that because I know your show is seen all over the world. So I'm going to have to clarify where it is and who I'm talking about. But Dan Ashley is an evening anchor on Channel 7 here, ABC affiliate in San Francisco. And he's the president of the board. And there were other people on there and, older white folks who didn't necessarily know who I was. But the person who was the founder of the BAMMYs, the owner of the BAMMYs, asked me to be on the board because he wanted my point of view from my days in radio and all like that. So we would have these meetings once a month. And about 3-4 meetings into this, before we got started, the ladies said to me, hey, before we get started, Dan, we got to talk about Gerry. We did a little research on you, and I see you've done this, you've done that, you work here, you work there. You're going to be very helpful to us because of all the people you know. And I just kind of said off the top of my head, I said, well, I am Bay Area Black Famous, right?
I love it.
And they all kind of threw their head back and laughed. And I said to myself, I might be onto something there. So I came up with this logo and I came up with this line of T-shirts initially where they say they're Bay Area Black Famous. And all that means is that, think about it, if you break it down, in the Bay Area, there's 7 million people in the Bay Area. There's about 5 or 6% of us are African American or Black, and that's everybody from 1 year old to 101 years old. So basically, what I'm saying is, if there's somebody that's doing something in the Bay Area, whether it's Kim Evans, whether it's me, whether it's whoever, we know somebody who knows that person. It's that small of a community. And so that's what I'm saying. We're Bay Area Black Famous. And so thinking if we can call ourselves kings and queens, we can call ourselves Black Famous. And so I came up with the logo, came up with the idea, came up with the buttons and things like that, put it online, and it sold like hotcakes.
So where can people get a hoodie? Because we're still in winter months, and I know you got your spring T-shirts. The hoodies. So how can people get one?
Okay, write this down. Get two.
Write this down.
Go to Gdovedesigns.com, Gdove designs.com. And on there, you'll see all my shirts that I've done over the years. The hoodies and T-shirts, like you said, for Bay Area Black Famous. I've also got one that says, I am Black Famous. I've got one from our friends up north in Sacramento. It says Sacramento Black Famous. I was asked to do some of those. So I've done some hoodies for them as well, for folks that live in Sac.
So wait a second, beep. Go back. Don't go too fast. So you have now.
Pardon me, my dog is barking at somebody.
Oh, that's okay. Because we have a lot of dog lovers. That's good. We like it. You have Sacramento Black Famous.
Yeah,
talk about that. Don't skirt over that. Don't Don't skirt over that.
I've got some friends that live in Sacramento, and they asked me if I could do the shirt. And I said, as a businessman, I need to sell at least 25 of these to make it worth my while, because you got to get the patches created because the patches are embroidered. They're not just sewn on, so they got to get those made. And then, it's going to cost me a little money to invest in it. I can't make 25 of these just to sell one or two. So
exactly.
So I first of all, I lined up another number of people that would get to my break-even point. And when I get to my break-even point, I went on and made a bunch of them. So now I'm connected with some different people up in Sacramento, trying to find out who the movers and shakers are, who the Kim Evans are of Sacramento.
Absolutely.
That can help me sell these shirts and these hoodies.
We need to get you some also sponsorship and get this into the schools too. The Richmond Unified, the West Contra Costa Youth School District, and so some of these young youth can get them as well and expand it out. So yeah, we'll work on that this year.
All right. Great.
Because that is something, and I know you already got the name trademark. I don't even have to ask you that. I know you got that.
I realized the other day I got about 5 or 6 trademarks. How about that?
Amen.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So let me also ask, we got music, we got community, you have your paraphernalia, you have your show. What else do we have, Mr. Gerry, that you would like to share? What is coming down the line for Purple Gerry Productions? Is there anything that you would like to share about that?
Purple Cherry Productions, let's go back a little bit first. How about that? So January and February are good months for Purple Cherry Productions, because in January, I've been part of the Martin Luther King Jr. Committee to do this march and rally in San Francisco every year. I've been doing that for like 20 years. And so I always provide a talent, and we do an outdoor festival. This year, because of the rain, we moved it indoors to the theater that's adjacent to the Yerba Buena Gardens. Had a great show. Tony Lindsay performed, Ryan Nicole performed, a sister named Adisha. There's a brother named Dr. Pascal Bocard, who you should have on your show, and I'll give you information about him in a little bit. Who's a professor at USF, but he also does African music, which he calls Afro Bluegrass, Grazz, Afro Bluegrass. And he teaches about the influence of West African music with African American music, or just American music for that matter. Did you know, Kim, that the banjo is an African music, is an African instrument?
No, I did not know that.
Okay, so when you think of a banjo, you probably think of country music and all like that.
Exactly.
But I learned from him that the banjo came from Africa.
Look at that. Look at that. Look there.
You should really have him on your show. Your guests, your viewers would love to have it. And so I did that. And then in February, I work with Deanna Roberts to do the
Black History,
San Francisco City Hall, Black History, provide talent for that and all that kind of thing. And so I always got things going. And then now that we're kind of out of COVID and everything's going to be back to
skirt, because I gotta give you praise. That particular production, D.R. Roberts, we got to give Deanna her props.
Absolutely.
But you brought it with the entertainment, Gerry. Just share a little bit about that, because I sat there. I mean, you invited me, and it was nice. I mean, it was nice with Mayor Breedlove. Let's give props. Come on with it was really nice. Maria Cohen, right? Oh my, it was nice. The entertainment. How did you know to choose those acts in the entertainment? How did you do that?
Well, the thing about being in a production thing like that, you kind of have to know who it is, what kind of a move they're trying to set. Now, I've been working with Deanna on this for about 7 or 8 years at this point, so I know what they're looking for. They want something that's going to be cultured, sophisticated, but at the same time a lot of fun. So I've got a different vibe for MLK Day than I do for Black History Day. Now, the Black History Month is in City Hall in San Francisco, which is a beautiful building. So you got to have a certain kind of a vibe about it. Miranda Wilson is the host, the MC. I always say that Miranda Wilson can make a loaf of bread sound like the best loaf of bread you've ever seen in your life.
And she can feed 5,000 loaves.
You know what I'm saying? So she's perfect for that. Ryan Nicole, who is on my show, but also a longtime friend, and I've used her a lot with Purple Cherry Productions. She's a spoken word artist and just a super duper talent. So I would love to have her on.
And the singer that you had,
Dee Simon, is one of the singers. She is our version of Aretha Franklin right here in the Bay, and she can sing her tail off. And she sang Aretha that night, did Rock Steady.
And Omega.
Omega, who I did, that was not mine, but I did also do the production of the stage, but that was one of Deanna's people.
Okay. Okay.
She was great, and Jen Johns is another one that I brought into
Mm.
the thing, and Jen was fantastic as well. So, and then they also had these dancers, and they had the Pittsburgh High School marching band, which came down those big long stairs at school. We
Mhm.
had a
Mhm.
Beyonce look-alike that came
It
down the
really
road.
did. Yes, it did.
It was a lot. It was a great thing, a great event, great
It
event.
was it was a lot of fun celebrating the accomplishments as HBUs at universities and just homage, just paying homage, and during Black History Month. It was such a magnificent way to close out
Right.
Black History Month. And it was a beautiful production, Gerry, a
Thank you.
beautiful production.
And then it was
So
followed by food and drinks and everything. And the after party
yes.
was the world famous Russ and CJ were in the mix. All kinds of Black um, food vendors and wine vendors and all were in there as well. So next year, whoever's watching this, you should go.
Well, I would
It's free.
definitely.
It's free, so you should
I
go.
definitely will be there front row center next year. Gerry, this has been amazing.
Well, wait, let me answer your question. You answer your
Go
question.
ahead.
You asked what I got in the future. The one thing I also did
Yes.
last month for Black History Month, my friend Charleston Pierce
Yes.
is a legendary Bay Area
Yes.
fashion model and a fashion coordinator and teacher. He asked me to be in a fashion show of his. Now, I love my clothes, Kim, but I'm not a fashion show guy. I've done a few fashion shows, but I'm not a fashion
Wait a
show
minute,
guy.
hold up. Did Gerry just say, do you think I love my clothes? Every time this man steps out, I never see this man looking unpresented. This man steps out even if it's on a casual day. He is dapper. Just distinguished gentleman.
If I know you're going to be there, then I try to make sure I step up my game.
So tell us about the fashion show, because I was going to ask you, how did you spend your enjoyment? So yes,
that was a lot of fun.
So share.
That was at Macy's in San Francisco, down at Union Square, and they asked Charleston to put together a fashion show, and he asked me to be in it. Now Charleston has done fashion shows for me for Purple Cherry Productions, so I've seen what his work is, but I never again thought that I'd be in one. So I went to a couple of rehearsals. I learned to walk. Hand in your pocket. If you're a man, keep one hand in one pocket. Don't swing this arm too much. Walk, stop, lean to the right for about 5 seconds because they're looking at the clothes. Let them look. Shift your position. Go to the left. Let them look at your clothes for 5 seconds. Put your hands in the middle like this.
Wow.
Go to 5 seconds. Pivot and turn. Put your hand back in your pocket and walk. And I learned it. And it was at the beginning during the rehearsal. It was really it was kind of silly. I just was giggling to myself because there's all these other people who really want to be models, and I was felt like I'm just in their way. But but by the time
I just happened to be invited. Wait, I didn't even have to initiate. I didn't have to go to. No, I would just I would just add that I'm just here because I'm personally invited, right?
But by the day of the show, they had created this atmosphere in Macy's where there's this great big long aisle. I don't know if you've been in the Macy's in San Francisco, but the aisles are a mile long and they had chairs all up and down. It was like walking a runway at it was a walking a runway at a fashion show. Really photographers all over the place. People yell, "Hey, Gerry, Gerry!" It's like it was surreal, but it was so much fun.
That had to be a great ego boost.
Oh, it was just fun. I was just having fun. And so I asked him, I said, next time you do one, I want to do it again. I want to do it again. I want to do it again. So he promised.
So we're going to add model. We're going to add model to your repertoire of your list of everything.
Just add that I was in a fashion show. I don't know if you want to call me a model. I was in a fashion show. That's all we can add that.
So we see that's what you do for your enjoyment. So would you like to share that anything come out of that you would like to share?
Well, a good friend of mine who happens to be over here was telling me that I should consider working out some lines of clothing and some things like that. And so I said to her over here, I said, well, what came out of me being in the show was a person who had been watching me on Facebook. His name is Bob Marshall, and he owns a company called Styles International. He moved to Atlanta recently. Hit me up on Facebook, said that he liked my look, and every time I see me, he sees me, I'm looking this way and that way. He wanted to know if he could help style me. Not do my whole thing because it's, oh, you already got it. I just want to add to it. And so we had a good long chat, and we recently have kind of come to an agreement where he's going to send me different items. And so if you follow me on social media, you'll be seeing me wearing different things that are brought to me by Styles International out of Atlanta.
Look at that. Look, see, all because you having fun and enjoyment. Charleston Pierce asked you to be in a fashion show. Look what happened, Gerry. Look at that.
Kim,
Look.
to answer your question again from earlier, if I've had a great life, if God decided he wanted me tomorrow, I say, you know what? The last thing I did was be on with Kim Evans and I had fun with that. I've had a good life. If you want me, let's go. You know, so I'm very happy.
I'm so excited in your next life of your golden life after first starting in radio, being laid off, where you are right now with your company, the opportunities that are moving forward. You are now living your best life.
I think so. I think so. I wouldn't mind having some more money, but you know, that's part of it, right? I hit a scratcher today, a scratcher and got $150 on it. So I'm like, ooh. So I'm just good.
Friend, I am so excited for you. Is there any last words that you would like to share with the audience on how to get in contact with you, or anything you would like to share about your company, or any other hidden gems that you would like to reveal before we end?
I first of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you and speak on all the things that I've done. You've been so generous with your time and so kind with your words that I don't always deserve. But you can find me if you want to talk to me on social media. Facebook is Gerry with the Gerry. You see my name right there, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Gerry.
Right, there it is. I'm trying to point at it while I'm on the screen here. Gerry Dove on Facebook. On Instagram is Gdove Designs or IRTS Show. You can see the show on YouTube at IRTS Space Show. You can go and catch some of the shows that we've had in the past. You can binge watch all of those. You can catch it live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific. And I'm out here. I'm going to different events. I'm going to go see Marcus Miller tomorrow night at Yoshi. So if you see me then, come and holler at me. And so I'm out there. I'm trying to do my thing, have some fun.
And then also the most important thing, IG. Where can we reach you on Instagram? I'm going to
Instagram. I have 2 Instagram pages. One is Gdove Designs, and the other one is IRTS Show. IRTS Show. So either one of those, you can send me a DM, and as long as you don't look too suspicious, I'll hit you back.
Gerry, can people schedule a time? I'm not going to give you email address here unless you give that out, but if someone wanted to have a consultation with you or to speak with you, do you have that available that people can reach out to you?
Sure. If you think if there's anything I can do to help you out, you can email me at Gdove at irtsshow.com. Gdove at irtsshow.com. You know, one of the things that I've learned is to help others. You know, so if I can help anyone, I'm sure you're helping me by asking me to help you.
Absolutely. I love it. And on that note, as we are celebrating Women's Month, International Women's Day was yesterday, and this month is Women's Month. I just wanted to just you gave a celebration to Missy Elliott, I believe, just the other day.
Yes, that was our show this past Tuesday. Yeah.
Yes. Did you want to add or share anything about that people can go back and recap and watch that show? Because we know how awesome Missy Elliott is.
We know how awesome Missy Elliott is. You don't realize how awesome she is until you start talking about her and looking at her videos and listening to her music and hearing her influences and all the people she has influenced. We did a nice show on her just the other night. You can catch it on the YouTube channel. She's an icon, man. I mean, every sense of the word. She's a rapper. She's a producer. She's a dancer. She's a visionary that you would not believe. Her videos are incredible, and we just wanted to honor her. And she was the first one we did for Women's History Month. That's who we spoke about. We've got some other ladies coming up next week. I don't want to say who it is, just in case. But you'll probably enjoy that show as well. So, and then on the other thing, if I can add this, on the Facebook, there's a VIP lounge page that I created, the IRTS VIP Lounge, which every day I feature 5 different songs or 5 different artists. It might be their birthday. It just is a conversation starter about music. And to me, it carries us between shows on IRTS Live, because we're continuing to talk about some of the music that we love that's at least 20 years or older. That's on the road. So it may be talking about a Motown artist here. Today is Jeffrey Osborne's birthday. So we featured Jeffrey Osborne and a song. And the challenge of the day was to name a song with the word love in the title, because Jeffrey has done On the Wings of Love, Love Ballad, and Back in Love Again. So it's a song with love in the title. And so there's thousands of people that are in the lounge and they all participate. We have a lot of fun with that too.
What an exciting passion that you have.
Yeah.
And that you have actually made an enterprise after that. So we are just sending forth love, and so that you can have even deeper, greater connections and collaborations in 2023. Looking forward to what you're going to be doing, either greater things in Purple Cherry Productions. Look so forward to seeing at Black Area Sacramento Famous, the hoodies. You all go back to Gerry's website and buy his paraphernalia. We're going to be looking at him doing more fashion show entertainment. And to the words of Mr. Gerry Gdove, go ahead on and end the show, because if not, I'm going to say the famous tagline. This is Kim Evans.
Well,
Thank you very much for watching.
Yes.
I'm going to do mine, but I'm going to let Gerry close it out. Y'all know me, too gorgeous, but Gerry, go head out and close it out with your famous tagline.
Whatever you do with your life, you make a decision, you make peace with your decision, and you move forward. Make peace and move forward.
Amen to that. And on that note, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. Bye for now.